Maybe you're here today because you've watched one of our other videos and you're a little bit curious about this whole freezer meal revolution and wondering if you might want to join. Maybe you're here and it's your very first time watching one of our videos, and if so, welcome.
Hello.
Maybe you've been watching us for a long time and you've already got your freezer stacked and you're like, have all the time in the world to be watching our videos because you don't have to worry about what's for dinner tonight. But if you fit into one of those first two categories, then what we're hoping is that this is going to be the video that convinces you to just give it a try. Just dip a toe in and make just these 5 recipes. Maybe double each of them so that you end up with 10, because it's super easy to double them. And then you will have time to sit back and watch some of our other videos while your meal is just sitting there in the freezer all ready to go for dinner tonight. Because today we are sharing super simple 5 ingredient recipes. It doesn't get a whole lot easier than this.
Nope, it really doesn't.
Other than 4 ingredient recipes, and we'll share a video for that at the end of this one because we do have some of those too.
It is a wonderful thing to have in your freezer, to pull out, to simplify your life, to give yourself a little bit extra time, even just not having to wash up your cutting boards every single night of the week for the vegetable chopping, or the mental load of thinking, what am I going to make, the meal planning that way. This is kind of a one and done.
We love living this way.
I couldn't do it any other way. I really, whenever our freezers get low in their stacks, in our stock, I start to get a little panicky. I start to be a little like, oh, I'm gonna have to like start coming up with things to eat, and I am not liking that.
I know. I was at an appointment yesterday and I was talking to one of the people there. She was kind of flabbergasted at the amount of children that I have, and she was like, how do you do that? And I was like, well, you know, one of my secrets is that for, 17 or so years, I haven't had to think about making dinner.
I know, and it is really great to live that way. Let me tell you, I have so many other things to think about.
I know. And so I was telling her about you because I was like, my neighbor and I have been getting together since she moved in 12 years ago.
12 years ago. That's crazy.
And making the meals together, which has made it a lot more fun.
Way more fun. And I'll tell you something else. Because I met Charla, I am making a much wider variety of freezer meals than I would have had before. And, I am a meat and potatoes cook. I am a salt and pepper cook. And there wasn't a lot of spice happening in our house, and that's okay to cook that way too. And you can make freezer meals that way, but to increase the variety and to be able to have my kids try different things, and even my husband, who is really a meat and potatoes guy, when I can make like Moroccan chickpea stew, and he comes out and says, that is one of the best things you've ever made, I feel really great about it. And I was already a good cook before I started. So here's the thing, you don't even have to be a good cook to do these. And The recipes are that good. It is that simple to put them together, and I promise you can do this. In case
you don't know how to cook and you are here thinking, well, I don't know how to brown beef. I can't do this. We're going to show you that even if you are brand new to cooking, this is even for you. And this first recipe will hopefully open your eyes to the possibilities. This is our easy crockpot chicken cacciatore. All you're gonna do is put some raw, boneless, skinless chicken breasts or thighs into a large resealable freezer bag. Then you're gonna add some pasta sauce or our red sauce recipe and some coarsely chopped zucchini, some chopped onion, and Italian seasoning. That is absolutely it. You're gonna give this a bit of a squish in the bag just to mix it together without having to dirty a bowl. Then you're gonna get as much air out of the bag as you can, because air is what's gonna contribute to your freezer burn. So if you can get the air out, this will last longer in your freezer. Then you're gonna seal it and freeze it. When you go to make this, all you do is pull this out of your freezer, thaw it, and then dump it right into your slow cooker. Turn that on, and when you're ready to serve it, you can serve this over pasta, and it makes a full meal because you've got your vegetables, your protein, and your starch. It is so simple, and I have to tell you, this is a recipe that I did an experiment with. I had my husband time me, and I did a short video of it, so you can see that on Instagram or TikTok, but I timed how long it would take me to make one of these bags versus how long it would take me to make 4. And I was able to make 4 in, I can't remember if it was under 5 minutes or under 6 minutes. Definitely under 6 minutes. And so you could have 4 meals for your family, all done in about 5 minutes, which is pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing, and that is part of the magic of making freezer meals. And it's volume, right? You know, it's considered a more complicated recipe because we have chopped onion and chopped zucchini in it. If you already have your cutting board out and you already have your knife out and you're already cutting an onion, cut 3 more. You just take a fraction of the time to do the extra ones than you would if you made this from scratch every night, because you have to take it out, get your onion out, get your knife out, and then you have to wash it every time. And then pretty soon you are going to be on your way to being a freezer meal queen or king, and your life will be better for it.
Absolutely. And this one's really tasty. You can sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on there, some red pepper flakes if you want to kick up that spice level a little bit. And it's just a really great, easy meal.
Yeah.
And if you can turn your slow cooker on, you can cook this.
That's right. Another great slow cooker meal that we have is our beef dip. This, again, is super simple. Be careful. If you blink, you might miss this. Into our bag, we're going to add our beef roast. You can use chuck, you can use a rump roast. We're going to add in some minced garlic, a package of dry onion soup mix, or if you're like us and you have it in bulk, then you would add in 3 tablespoons. You're going to add in some beef broth and a bit of pepper. Again, mix it around right in your bag so that your beef roast is nice and evenly coated with all of the spices and all the goodness. We're going to get that extra air out, and we're going to seal it up and freeze it. When you go to thaw this, you can do it a day ahead, right? So that it's nice and thawed when you go to put it in your slow cooker. You're going to cook it on low for 6 to 8 hours. And then this is one that you want to slice, and you can serve it on buns, and then the juices that are left in your slow cooker, that's the au jus that you can use for the dipping sauce. Now, I like to make this one with a horseradish mayonnaise that I kind of make on my own. It's like a couple of heaping tablespoons of mayonnaise and then a blob, this is very scientific, a blob of horseradish. You can use spicy or mild. I brighten it up with a squeeze of lemon juice and add some salt and pepper. And that's it. I mix it around. I spread this on toasted buns before I add my beef dip, and then it kind of feels like you're like at a restaurant because it is that good.
And if you do the fancy mayo, this is worthy of serving to guests.
Oh, it totally is. And because it's a beef dip, because it's so big, it can go so far. It's just super great. And how easy was that? That is not any harder than what you just did with the chicken. In fact, I would say it's simpler because we didn't have to chop an onion for it.
Exactly. It is one of our easiest recipes, I have to say.
It really is.
This next recipe does not even require a cutting board or a knife. It is really, really easy. This is our Mississippi chicken. It's got some really interesting flavors in it, and it is just a very nice one to have. So into your large freezer bag, you're going to add some raw chicken breasts or thighs, boneless and skinless. Then you're gonna add some pepperoncini peppers and some of the juice from the jar. For the pepperoncini peppers, I like to pull the stems off of mine, but I just do it with my fingers, so I don't even need a knife for that part. Then you can add in some dry ranch seasoning. You can either use a packet or 3 tablespoons if you buy it in bulk like we do. Then you can add a packet of au jus seasoning or chicken gravy mix and a blob of unsalted butter. You're just gonna squish that together in your bag to combine it, get your air out again, seal it, and freeze it. When you go to make this, you take your thawed bag and you dump the contents into your slow cooker. It just cooks on low for 3 to 4 hours or on high for 6 to 8 hours. Then you're gonna shred the chicken. This is also one that you can make in the Instant Pot if you prefer. We will have the recipes for this and the others down below. So if you're looking for the exact cooking instructions for the Instant Pot or the slow cooker, you can grab those in the description. Now, you can serve it without shredding it, just with some sides, or you can shred it and serve it on buns. It's a pretty versatile dish.
Yes, our family likes to have this one with potatoes because then the gravy can also go on the potatoes. And it is a tangy gravy because of the peppers. Not super hot though. Like there's not a giant spicy heat to this. Just really, really flavorful and tangy.
And if Christy's kids can eat this one, spice tolerance wise, then that means it would pass the test for most people.
That's true.
Her son in particular has a pretty low spice tolerance, although it's building slowly.
It's building. He's getting there. We keep working on it, and sometimes he will request a little more spicy dishes because he wants to test himself. And that's kind of a good way to do it, I guess.
It sure is.
As long as he eats it. Beef taquitos might not be something you think of as being a grand meal that you're making, but having these in your freezer honestly is a lifesaver. Have you ever stopped in at, a specifically numbered convenience store and seen the chicken taquitos and honestly just bought them because they were there? And, we have chicken taquitos in freezermeals101.com. But we also have these beef taquitos, and they are chef's kiss. Very, very good and nice to have at home for when the mood strikes you, if you need a snack, if you need them for lunches. It is great to just have in the freezer. And they're so fast to heat up, air fryer, in your oven, in your microwave even. And here's how you make them. We're going to mix together your lean ground beef that's been browned and cooled in a bowl with some salsa, some taco seasoning, and some cheddar cheese. We're going to take our large flour tortillas and we're going to spread the taquito filling across and we're going to roll it up. We're going to repeat this until all of our filling is gone or all our tortillas are gone, whichever happens first. It's usually around 8 tortillas. And we're going to put them seam side down on a baking sheet and put them into our freezer. And we're going to freeze them individually first. And then once they're frozen, we're going to transfer them into a large freezer bag. And the reason we freeze them first is because they will stick together if you put them all in the bag at once and start freezing them. So we want them to be nice and stable and so that they don't stick together. That way you can pull out 1 or 2 at a time when it is time to make these. You can cook these from frozen. You can put them in your oven, in your microwave, or like I said, in your air fryer, and then serve these with salsa or sour cream.
We actually included these in one of our frugal meal videos. I'll pop the link for that up there and in the description down below. And we worked it out that these were less than $1 each. And you can't buy them at the convenience store for anywhere near that. And those ones are little and these ones are the big ones.
Yes.
So this is also incredibly inexpensive, which is really nice to have as well.
And it's another major draw for making freezer meals. You can catch those big sales. You can buy things in bulk because you're going to deal with them right away. And you're not having your produce go bad in the bottom of your crisper, because I don't know if you are the queen of good intentions, but I am. And that has happened to me countless times. But with freezer meals, it doesn't really happen like that because we get it into a meal right away because, there was a 2-for-1 deal on peppers. Okay, we are making fajita things. And we're gonna get these into the freezer, into a meal and into the freezer and into our bellies.
When I was deciding on the recipes that we were gonna use in this particular video, I used a really simple feature that we have in our Freezer Meals 101 Club, which is our keyword search box. You can filter by all kinds of things in the club. You can filter by protein or by diet or by cooking method or whatever. But in the keyword search box, we've got certain things, a whole bunch actually, that we have set up. So we've got things like kid-friendly or comfort food.
Cooked from frozen.
Cooked from, yes. And one of the things that we've got there is 5 ingredients or less. So I just started typing in 5 ingredients, and by the time I got a few letters into the word ingredients, it populated for me, and I was able to have a quick look through and decide on which ones we wanted to feature today, which is really nice. So if you're someone that gets easily overwhelmed, if you see that a recipe is long and has a long ingredients list, because obviously some of our recipes are more involved than 5 ingredients, then that's a really good way for you to start. Just do a 5 ingredient meal plan up for yourself, print off your shopping list and your prep list and your printable labels, and then you can start stacking your freezer at first with just these easy recipes. And like I said, we just chose 5 today, but we have so many more than 5 in that 5 ingredients or less category. This next one isn't even in the club yet. It is so new, but it is heading to the club, and that is the pizza gnocchi. For this family-friendly freezer meal, all you're gonna do is add some refrigerated potato gnocchi into a large freezer bag. Then you're gonna add some chopped green peppers, some pasta sauce or red sauce, sliced pepperoni, and squish that together in the bag. Get out your air and seal it. Then in a quart size, that's a medium size freezer bag, you're gonna add some shredded mozzarella cheese, and you're gonna seal that and staple these together above the seam. Get that in your freezer. That way you have everything you need for the day of cooking. On the day you make this, you thaw it, you dump that whole mixture into a casserole dish, top it with the cheese, and bake it. It bakes up really quickly, and the gnocchi bakes up right in the sauce. There's no need to pre-cook the gnocchi as long as you use the refrigerated kind and not the shelf-stable kind. This one is, like I said, kid-friendly, family-friendly, and just pretty delicious.
Absolutely. So we hope that by giving you a bunch of 5 ingredients or less freezer meals, you can try these out, and then you maybe next time try some that have 6 ingredients.
Right.
We want to increase your confidence, and you can totally do this now. If you have never, ever, ever cooked before, we do have freezer meal cooking for beginners. We have recipes for beginners, and we have really good instructional videos of how to shred cheese, how to chop an onion. I kid you not, it is in our freezer meal channel, because there are things that people don't know how to do, and just because we've been doing it for years, we don't want to just assume that you can automatically do those things.
And Christy grew up learning these things, and I didn't. So I remember having to learn each of these things. And for me, I bought this series of cookbooks by a cookbook author called Sandy Richard. I've talked about her before because she taught me how to cook. No word of a lie. And in her cookbooks at the beginning, she had things like how to slice a red pepper and how to chop an onion, and I had no idea before that. So I really appreciated those step-by-step things, and that's, I think, why I come from the mindset of like wanting to provide you with that. So if even 5 ingredients scares you, we're gonna pop a video right there of 4 ingredient recipes. And if you're too afraid to start with the 5 ingredients, then we hope that the 4 ingredients will be just what you're looking for.
Check that out, and hopefully check us out again.
Thank you for joining us today, and we really do believe you can do this. So let us know how it goes for you. Happy cooking.